Welcome back. 'Tis the season, that time of year when those fresh faces move into your office space, bringing with them energy and a hunger for experience. We're talking about interns. So are they worth an employer's time? Should they be paid? Are they to be treated as a regular employee? So we brought in two small business experts to give us these answers. Jen Brown is the founder and CEO of PeopleTactics, and Marissa Levin, CEO of Successful Culture. Thanks so much for joining us. And let's just get right to it. What are the rules and the laws behind having an intern?
Okay.
Well, when it comes to internships, you really want to be sure that if you are not going to pay an intern, that you are meeting the guidelines that the Department of Labor put out about 4 years ago. They have 6 criteria. You have to meet all 6 criteria in order not to pay the intern. One of the biggest ones is that you're not going to derive any benefit from the intern's work. And for many companies, that's very, very hard to prove. So my advice typically is to go ahead and pay your interns at least minimum wage. Make sure that you are compensating them for any overtime payment, and in that way you'll save yourself a lot of headaches along the road. Because another thing that's happened is there's been a real increase in recent years since the Department of Labor put out these guidelines in terms of lawsuits and claims that these interns are filing against their companies.
And Marissa, we were talking beforehand, you're a big believer in having interns, and our intern season here at WJLA just started. This week we got what I called a flood of those fresh faces that came in, about 30 of them. Why are you such a big believer in having interns?
Well, first let me say Jen has been Information Experts outsourced HR director for over 10 years, and we at Information Experts follow her guidelines, and we've always paid our interns. And with Successful Culture, I now have 2 great summer interns. And the thing that I love about interns is that as a leader in the community, it gives us the opportunity to bring these people into the business world in a way that is not intimidating for them. So we're able to open a door to new people, new experiences, and just give them a glimpse of what it really feels like to be doing something that they think they love before they are really, taking and dipping their entire toe into the pool. It just gives them a taste, and it feels great to mentor them. I mean, we're talking about our future leaders, and just to be able to bring them into the business world in a safe environment, it's extremely rewarding.
So what kind of responsibilities should I be giving an intern, or what responsibilities should I not be giving an intern?
Well, I think thinking in terms of what to give the intern is a great place to start. So I always advise, think about what value are you trying to get for your company from the internship, and also what experience do you want to provide to the intern. And from there, create your job description just like you would for any other position. And then as you move throughout interviewing your interns, be sure to ask them what do they hope to achieve through the internship, so that you can make sure you have alignment there. I think it's really important to always give at least a couple of meaningful projects to your intern. Certainly you may have some administrative or clerical things you want them to focus on, but be sure you give them some projects that are going to help them with their career and their course of study.
Yeah, so I'm thinking back here, many, many years ago when I was in college, I had 2 internships. The first one, I sat in a room with a bunch of tapes, and my job for several weeks was to go through verbatims of interviews and fill in the spaces where it said inaudible, where the person transcribing couldn't figure that out. That was maybe one of those that was not the win-win. They got something out of it in that they knew what that interview had said. I sort of was trying to not go crazy from sitting in a room trying to decipher things. The other one basically let me do whatever I wanted to do. If I wanted to ride along with a reporter and go out with a crew, and one reporter had me ride along every Friday night for a summer. Did not make for the most exciting weekends, but basically taught me how to write by watching him. And another reporter who I ended up working with after I got hired at that place, let me basically kind of work as an off-air reporter, finding stories, setting them up, arranging interviews, doing interviews. And I look at, that was clearly a win-win. They benefited, I benefited, and it set up really the first professional step in my career, and I am grateful to this day. How do you create a situation where everybody wins? How do you make it a win-win?
So at Information Experts, I'll tell you, quite I think 3 or 4 of our interns actually became full-time employees. And the way that we set it up, and this gets back to really making sure you treat them as employees, not just kind of extra people, they're going to come into your culture. So you want to make sure that it's not just the owner of the business that's selecting the interns, but the people that are going to be working with them day to day, making sure that there is an alignment and that the people who are going to be working with them really like them. And you have very clearly delineated roles and responsibilities and defined projects. So this is the project you're starting on, and when you get ready to leave, it will conclude then. You also,
How do you treat them like an employee? You say treat them like an employee. Does that mean I can't send them to get my dry cleaning?
Well, I mean, if you happen to be giving an internship out on dry cleaning assistance, I suppose you could, but you probably won't get a lot of responses. Doing the offer letter, the employee handbook, or employee orientation, just integrating them into the organizational culture, making them feel like they're a part of the team. And the other thing is, for interns, we never have put our interns client-facing. So all the work that they've done has been very developmental internally, making sure we're not putting any of our projects at risk.
Right.
So that's very important.
We have time for a final thought between the two of you. The biggest takeaway you would tell people if they're debating whether or not having an internship program in their office is worth it.
Absolutely. I would say definitely hire an intern. They will add value to your company. They bring fresh ideas. They have new thoughts that you probably haven't thought of. And it's a great way also to impact a young person's life and help them hopefully shape where they're going to head.
And it could be a feeder system. I mean, the 2 interns that I have one that is an instructional technologist designing online courseware for me. I have another who is helping with my social media. As my business grows, they may very well likely be full-time employees. I'm not ruling that out. I'm definitely looking at my intern program as a potential feeder system to great employees for my company.
Jen and Marissa, thanks so much for coming in and talking to us today on Washington Business Report. Always a pleasure.
Thanks
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, coming up, it's Father's Day, and some of the region's top CEOs tell us the influence their fathers had on their success. Stay with us.